24th, 1940. Dear Scott, The Love on the Last Tycoon is a great title for your novel. I've been thinking that maybe I'll brave an airplane ride and come and see you for New Year's. Won't we be quite the pair? You with your bad heart and well, me with my bad head. And you can read me what you've written so far. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful novel, Scott. Your best one yet. If I could fit myself into this mail slot here, I would. And I would follow that letter all the way down to Hollywood. All the way to Scott. He always ends his letters with dearest love. I miss him. Write me soon. Devotedly, Z. The author Scott Fitzgerald once said, "The loneliest moment in someone's life is when they are watching their entire world fall apart and all they can do is stare blankly." But the loneliest moments were more common for his wife, Zelda. Dealing with the challenges of an absent husband and being alone in her own mind was hard. Zelda dealt with schizophrenia, which according to the World Health Organization is split personalities in one mind and voices heard all around you. We follow Zelda as she learns how to be a wife to a famous husband and adapt to the voices she hears. However, the loneliest moments will always continue to follow. Z, by Therese Ann Fowler. When I first met Scott, the first thing I knew about him is that he was an Army officer, and a Yankee, and a writer. Picture a late June morning in 1918. The Montgomery Country Club's High-ceiling ballroom was filled to capacity, and well, here came the officer. I noticed his crisp white collar, the perfect squareness of his chin, and the almond shape of his eyes. Oh my! Is this what the signs of true love are like? I mean, is it really like in Shakespeare? Scott Fitzgerald, he said. And it didn't take long for us to fall in love. Soon it was April 2nd and our wedding was set for the 5th. And anywhere I would go, I'd see signs of Scott. Someone reading his book on the train. His book in the windows. My husband, Scott. And his being an author was the thing I put all of my time and energy into, as he had done too. And at the age when I was learning how to roller skate backwards and do cartwheels, he was writing. He was writing full one-act plays. He was writing novels and stories. He was writing drama books and romance novels, and well, then he wrote The Great Gatsby. And wow, was that a hit. And he's even written it again and again in a play for Broadway. I just couldn't believe it. I was just so amazed and so proud of him. Zelda. August 26th, 1930. Dear Mama, some good news, The Great Gatsby's now playing on Broadway. Reviews are solid, and there's a movie deal in the works, so Scott's on top of the world again. He gets at least a dozen fan letters every day from readers all around the country, and some reporters even want to talk to me. Can you imagine me? Write me soon. Devotedly, Z. Scott started to come home, less and less. He was in Hollywood a lot for his movies, but that was okay, because I would be a housewife. My old life was behind me. But the house grew very quiet and very still. Zelda. I sat at my kitchen table with the big green ledger book in front of me. It was a gift from Scott. He told me I need to start keeping track of things better, so I wrote down things that had happened around the house. Leaky faucet, clogged toilet, again. My first real spells of an uncertainty of doubt. I realized that there's a word for people who move around from place to place, never seeming to settle down for too long. Peripatetic. But there was a word for people who are unruly and unresponsive. And well, Scott was all of those things. He'd come home drunk, hungover, unsure of where he had been. The smell of perfume on his shirt. I just missed my husband. January 20th, 1935. Dear Mommy, I don't think Scott and I should have ever really gotten married, Mama. Scott drinks too much, and he really hasn't been good to me. or to himself. And this thing that I've got going on in my head, it gets worse every time he's not home. Zelda. But here's an anecdote, a memory that comes to mind as I'm writing. It was the summer after our wedding, and me and Scott wanted to sail in Europe. So we boarded a boat called the Aquitania. And when the seas got rough, there was a prospect of us going down with the ship. But Scott always said that I was strong enough. I was a strong enough swimmer, and that I could just swim, I could just swim and save us all, and that's what I'm doing right now, I think. I think I'm swimming, but I can't breathe, Zelda. I can't breathe, Zelda. I can't breathe. No, I can't breathe, Zelda. Zelda. Write me soon. Devotedly, Z. I tried to continue and be a good wife. I mean, my whole life I was identified by those 4 letters, but why? Why was it every single time that I tried, I failed? My efforts just failed so miserably. I mean, was there really any point to my life anymore? I thought fighting with Scott was my life, but I had just been fighting against fate. I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, I want a divorce. I mean, none of this was worth it. All Scott cares about is his next novel, his next play, his next movie, his next story with Scott. I am alone. I'm alone all of the time. With Scott, I am nothing. Zelda, you are nothing. And he has left me. He has left me here alone with my voices. These voices. Zelda, tell me what you're thinking. No, Zelda. Are you angry? No, Zelda, are you hurting? Zelda, are you fearful? Are you sad? I was blank. All I could see was a frozen, barren land of nothing. I am nothing. He has left me. He's left me here alone with my voices. These voices. Zelda! Zelda, no! No, stop! Will you just leave me alone? Who are you? And what do you want from me? March 20th, 1941. Dear Scott, I've been diagnosed with something, Scott. It's these voices of doubt inside my own head. Schizophrenia, the doctors called it. Without you, Scott, darkness consumed my soul. Blackness poured into my heart. So we beat on. Boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Your words, Scott, my new way of living. I'll see you soon. Devotedly, your wife, Zelda Fitzgerald. Zelda!